Hello everyone, it's Dungeon Master John back again with Geistridge, The Story So Far, Episode 3, Sessions 7 through 9. We've got a lot of stuff to cover here because this is where things really exploded in complexity and implications. A lot of stuff happened. We had secret missions, we had strange meteors from other worlds, there were politics, and there were what I'd call difficult situations. So, Session 7, No Questions Asked. General Cornelius of the Drangolin Republic sends a letter to the players asking them to take part in a mission that will require great discretion. He is hiding out somewhere in Geistridge, evidently either on the run or having to change locations and stay on the down low. But the players meet with him and he has a proposition for them. There, according to him, is a dangerous group of political radicals, these religious extremists, kobolds, who want to start a war between Oriana and the Drangolin Republic. He says he can't do anything about that because he can't order his kobolds to go attack other kobolds, but if the players were to take care of it for him, then the players would be saving everyone a lot of trouble and would be preventing war. Obviously, the players are a little skeptical already, but Cornelius has a prisoner. He brings out his prisoner. The prisoner seems to be, yes, highly religious and kind of extreme, hates the supreme commander, the overall leader of the Drangolin military, Cornelius's boss, hates the supreme commander, doesn't like Oriana that much either, and this is enough to convince the players that this is a genuine threat and that they need to get involved. So the players take some more instructions from Cornelius, instructions that they are to burn after completing the mission. They find this mining camp full of kobolds, and seeing that there are 30 or 40 of them in this camp, decide that it's best to do a surprise attack. Well, the attack goes very well. The players are able to slaughter the kobolds. It's a pretty one-sided fight, as the kobolds don't really have the numbers to overwhelm the players, and half of the kobolds are just miners. They're not even in any armor, and they don't put up much of a fight. The players, under instructions from Cornelius, are to kill every single kobold, because if one of them gets out and gets away to the Senate, it's going to look very bad if a bunch of people from Oriana attacked a Republic mining camp. So they have to kill every last kobold, and the players are seriously starting to doubt if this was a good idea, especially when some of the kobolds are surrendering. It seems like maybe this was not the fight they were expecting. There is one remaining kobold, the officer of the camp, that the players decide to leave alive, maybe as insurance, maybe to get more information, maybe because they're starting to feel really bad about the implications of their actions. It's Clarity the cleric who decides to abduct slash rescue this officer named Casca, and they go back to Cornelius. Meanwhile, they keep Casca safe. They keep Casca hidden from Cornelius so he doesn't know. They get their payment, and from Cornelius, they get their payment and their magic items, and they take their prisoner back. However, it quickly becomes apparent what are they going to do with this prisoner. It's dangerous to leave them alive because if they go back to the Senate, they're going to tell all the kobolds what happened, and it's going to look really bad for Oriana. But also, the players are extremely concerned that what they've done was a bad idea, and it's obviously they don't want to kill any more innocent kobolds, but they don't want to have this extremely dangerous prisoner. So Clarity takes the initiative and stashes Casca away somewhere in the city no one will find her. So this is where we get to another one of these Discord role plays that didn't happen during an actual session, but did affect the plot overall. Basically, Clarity takes Casca the Kobold to this old abandoned tower that used to be an empire building in Oriana, and locks them in this tower, not sure what to do. Clarity feeds Casca and keeps them alive, but doesn't quite know what to do. until two kobolds show up, Sneef and Kiro. They're interested in what happened to Casca and are concerned about a fellow kobold being kept basically in jail forever. After a heart-to-heart conversation where Sneef and Kiro talk to the cleric Clarity, Clarity basically gives up, says, all right, fine, you guys can do with this. I feel terrible already. I'm going to leave. Um, and so Jane, along with the two kobolds, those three all get a chance to talk to Casca, the officer, and they discover some pretty frightening news. The news, in fact, that this mining camp was totally normal, was not any kind of religious secret base or place where they were planning to start a war with Oriana. It was just a normal mining camp, and Casca, the officer, had been moved there from the formerly they were on the border between Oriana and the Republic, but were moved there directly by the Supreme Commander after they did something to displease the Supreme Commander. At this point, the players know that it's a terrible idea to release Casca, but also that what they've done was they've basically been tricked into a lose-lose situation. And the better hearts, or kinder hearts at least, win out and they decide to free Casca. They know this is going to have implications, but they can't bring themselves to kill or continue to imprison this kobold. And Casca is absolutely enthusiastic about leaving, leaves immediately and heads straight for the Senate. In Session 8, the players are tracking down that strange meteor they saw so many sessions ago falling somewhere to the south. I believe it was Session 2 where they saw a strange green glowing meteor that gave them bad vibes crash somewhere in Geistridge. And so now the players are going to try to track that down. As soon as they reach the border to Geistridge, there are normally some kobolds hanging around on little forts around the border, but this time the kobolds, there are twice as many or 3 times as many of these kobolds on the border. The kobolds don't say anything, but they are keeping a careful eye on the players. It's clear that someone in the Republic either knows what happened last time or is suspicious of what happened last time. The players continue, though, and they start journeying south as they leave the kobold-controlled area and head further south. They start to get followed by these wolves, a pair of wolves that have actually been tracking the players for a number of sessions, but only kind of peek at them over the horizon and then immediately disappear. The wolves this time don't get any closer. They just observe the players and then leave once the players start to get too curious. And they kind of shadow the players at a distance until they get to this meteorite crash site. The meteor is gone or vaporized on impact, but there's this weird glowing substance all over the crash site, and only people with dark vision can see it, but it's all over the animals and plants that live around here. It isn't long at the crash site until they are attacked by Duergar. These Duergar are, the Duergar are normally strange and freaky, but these ones are looking particularly strange and freaky and covered in this glowing substance as they attack the players. The players get some help, though, as Hulf, son of Volki, prince of the wolves, rushes into combat and starts fighting on the side of the players. As the combat finishes, they start to talk to Hulf, Prince of the Wolves, who is here to rescue his companion Bjorn from these Duergar. The players ask, hey, were you guys the wolves that have been following us? And Hulf proudly declares that yes, they were spying on you on orders of his mother, Volki, Queen of the Wolves. So after a brief little, shall we say, macho skirmish between one of the players and Volki to determine, or between Hulf and one of the players to determine who's the greatest warrior in all of Geistridge. Spoiler alert, Hulf won. The groups team up and decide to go into the caves to find Bjorn and to find this meteor, which they can tell has been dragged somewhere. So they go into the caves and they find more Durgar, and they also find this strange meteor. Another intense fight commences. Eventually, the players are victorious. They find Bjorn, who is eager to see Half. The two wolves basically briefly talk to the players and make their exit. It becomes clear that they were not supposed to talk to the players, only spy on them, but Half is a little too brave and heroic to not announce his presence. When it comes to the meteor, the players immediately get a strange vibe as soon as they have a chance to investigate it. All the dead bodies around the fight are starting to be dragged closer to the meteor as if it's trying to absorb them, and they feel something speaking into their minds. The creature in their minds is saying that it can't survive here. It didn't find what it expected. It needs a new body. The players are understandably concerned about this and decide to basically take all the bodies away so that it can't absorb them, and cover the entrance to the cave with some tree branches and other debris to discourage anyone else from finding this strange artifact. But they have to leave eventually and don't want to bring this weird rock back to Oriana, so they leave it there and head back. That brings us to session 9, Meet the Boss. This session has some big implications for Oriana overall, and is really where the politics of the campaign has come to a big event. The players receive a letter from the Supreme Commander. They have not met the Supreme Commander, the supposed leader of the Drangolin Republic's military, Cornelius's boss. They haven't met him yet, but all the kobolds talk about him. They either love him or hate him, and rumor has it that he's never lost a fight. There's also rumors that he used to practice occult rituals and talk to witches, which makes some of the players suspicious that that kobold heart they found earlier may have belonged to this Supreme Commander. Accompanying the players is a representative from Oriana, Dolores Day. She is here to officially represent the city of Oriana and to sign any important agreements that they need to with these kobolds. On their way, they find some strange ruins, and while camping in these ruins, they encounter the Star. She is back and bloodthirsty as ever. She brings some undead minions and tries to assassinate a particular player for what we could only imagine are personal reasons. The players, however, are able to fight off this angry vampire and her undead minions. And after a brief exchange where the Star accuses one of the players of stealing the spotlight and trying to replace her, she gets chased off, has to retreat into the woods, and the players are safe yet again. They also have to chase down Dolores Day, who immediately ran into the woods as soon as the Star showed up. A few more days of traveling brings them to the Drangolin Republic Army Base. This is a place with it's basically a fortress town with hundreds and hundreds of these kobold soldiers all training and marching around. The players are instructed to basically walk down the center of this military base and meet the Supreme Commander. The Supreme Commander walks in or rides in on a fabulous white steed. He has fake golden wings that make him look much more impressive, and all the soldiers are cheering for him as he dismounts and greets the players. The players and the Supreme Commander then go into this large fort and begin private negotiations. First off, the commander asks that the players sign a document attributing that Oriana completely disowns anyone involved in that terrible attack on the miners and would never help any of those people. The players kind of understand that the commander is trying to sweep this under the rug and accept that, so they sign it because they don't want a war. And then the commander asks them if they have any spare bodies that they could get rid of. The players understandably say, no, our bodies are all right where we need them. We don't have any extras in Oriana. And so the commander says, that's fine, he'll just have to attack Globetown and take some bodies that way. He needs something to show the Senate to prove that he's killed whoever attacked this mining camp. The players are a little nervous about that, but again, they don't want to start a war, so what can they say? Meanwhile, they start talking to him. They mention Cornelius, and they manage to incite that the commander is mad at Cornelius, and Cornelius, they're told, has been taken to the Senate for a court-martial. During these conversations, Sneef the Druid manages to escape the sight of the kobold guards and turn into a little cat and then a little spider and sneak around the fort. What is Sneef looking for? Well, Sneef is looking for the heart. He casts Locate Object, and sure enough, that strange beating heart is somewhere in the fort. Sneef can't quite get to it. It's in this locked safe with a ton of guards surrounding it. But now they know that this heart almost certainly belongs to the Supreme Commander. And because he's surrounded by soldiers and powerful spellcasters, it's hard for them to attack him directly. But if they could get to that heart, the players imagine that they could assassinate him and get rid of this powerful military leader. Speaking of powerful military negotiations, the Supreme Commander brings out another contract, this one much longer, and it basically stipulates that the city of Oriana is to become a protectorate of the Drangolin Republic military, and basically says that Oriana will be allowed to govern itself, but is not allowed to do anything outside of its borders, is not allowed to build any new structures, is not allowed to make any new alliances without the Republic's permission. And that's not great, but even worse is that the city of Oriana is going to have to provide food, is going to have to provide several wagons of food every couple of weeks directly to the military, and then eventually allow the Republic to start growing crops in the farmlands outside of Oriana. The players are very concerned about this. Dolores Day immediately recognizes that this is basically a glorified protection racket where something like the Mafia would agree not to protect your store, of course, but who are they really protecting it from? Sounds like it's protecting them from themselves. But the players are kind of nervous. What happens if they don't sign this contract? This kobold is very powerful. Maybe he wouldn't attack Oriana directly, but they would lose their only friend, and they would lose any protection that the kobolds might give them against those that hobgoblin army approaching from the north. If that wasn't bad enough, the Supreme Commander brings out the cherry on top, which is that he has captured Clarity the Cleric, who went missing during the conversations with Casca while Casca was imprisoned. It seems like Clarity went west to try to make things right in Geistridge, to maybe kill Cornelius as a sort of moral revenge, but unfortunately has been captured by the Supreme Commander and his soldiers. And now it becomes sign the contract and save their friend, or don't sign the contract, lose their only protection, and possibly surrender their friend to the kobolds. Who knows what they will do. So the players, in a terrible situation, end up signing that contract with the Supreme Commander and have to go back to Oriana with this sad news and coming out of a situation that there was no good answer. That brings us to the end of session 9 and the end of these summary videos for now. I'll run down a quick summary of the main factions in Geistridge and what they've reached as far as plot development and who the players can really talk to. The Drangolin Republic is, of course, very powerful militarily wise. but is also politically unstable. It's clear that the Senate does not like the military and that the military is becoming more and more powerful. Cornelius, it's unclear if he's under arrest in the Senate or if this is just another staged event that the Supreme Commander has arranged for. As far as Globetown, it's ruled by Count Rodar von Glauer. Count Rodar is friendly, but it is obvious that he is dangerous and that he has several undead swarms that he could command. Right now they're just protecting the city, but who knows what happens if Count Rodar gets angry or decides that Oriana is going to be his new stage for his plays. The other minor factions are the Wolves of North Star Fortress. They're almost completely unknown. They've only met the Warrior Prince, and they don't know anything about the Wolf Queen Volki, sorry. But at least they seem friendly enough, and they're excellent fighters. As far as the Duergar Death Cult, they don't seem interested in diplomacy with anyone. They only seem interested in these powerful magical items like the tower or the meteorite that they keep trying to claim for themselves. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the summary. Thank you for watching this far if you have already. I'll actually, at the time of recording this, I've already run a 10th session, but it might be a little while until I make more summary videos. Hopefully this is helpful, and if you have any questions about Geistridge or the individual sessions, you can always ask me or some of the players who frequent that region. Thanks for watching.